segments of the society.
But this national conference is not writing a new constitution.
We don't know.
We don't know yet. But let me tell you.
Was that the intention?
I can look. Go and read Mr. President's speech when he inaugurated us. We should come up with framework, legal framework, that may lead to writing a new constitution if need be. What we are supposed to do, we have done. Come up with resolutions. If you want to write a new constitution, set up a constitutional drafting committee. But what is critical is that I know that as with 1999 constitution, this national conference suffers one legitimacy problem, that delegates were not elected. In some of that jurisdiction, they don't get elected, to be honest with you. But that is a curable defect. As I said in the plenary, that the principle of ratification in law, if you are the principal, I am the agent, you haven't asked me to go and do what I've done, but if I take it back to you and you affix your imprimatur, it becomes legitimate. Put in other words, all that we have done, in spite of the fact that the process or processes leading to the convocation or the Constitutional National Conference
may have been faulty.
Once we were able to take the resolutions to the people to say yes or no, you have a preponderance of yes votes over no votes. They have affixed their imprimatur, and it becomes legitimate. And the previous defect will thus be cured. And that will also satisfy the yearnings for sovereign national conference. Because you can kill two birds with a stone now. Those who have been agitating, and I'm proud to be one of the people that have been advocating for sovereign national conference. Once you take it to the people, they have fixed their imprimatur, nothing should be removed from it. Because the people that are supposed to pass it into law have been elected by the same people who have ratified what you have taken to them.
Okay, let me just ask this one last question on this issue, because I'm looking to get a finite answer on the issue of, you mentioned exclusive lists. The National Assembly is not being able to remove or rejig that. The issue of derivation, it's so hot and it creates such hot temper amongst a certain set of people. But bottom line, are you saying that it is not possible for the National Assembly, State Assembly, governors, and the president?
I'm saying for reasons of politics, it's not been possible.
So it's not been possible, but is it still impossible for them to do it?
Look, don't let us engage ourselves into, that's a matter of conjecture. One, two, don't let us go into unnecessary rivalry between the National Assembly and the National Conference. What is important is the future of Nigeria. And I mean, I feel ashamed that countries all over the world, even countries in Africa, Ethiopia, Benin, name them, have gone through referendum. When last have you ever subjected any of your constitutions to a referendum in Nigeria? I mean, that's a big shame. You must subscribe to international best practice for you to benefit from what people are benefiting from.
Please, let me correct one impression. It is also very, very untoward for anybody to come up to say that the Mr. President told you about legal framework. When Mr. President is standing on a solid legal framework, as bad as the 1999 Constitution is, no matter wherever anybody takes it, even on derivation, they're making mountain hills out of, he said not less than 13%. That word, not less than, in common English or law, means you can advance from here. So for anybody to come and say that the ethnic nationalities, I come from a village of less than 100,000 persons, 95% Catholic, one dialect, who lost the last Igwe in 1998. The next village wanted to take over the Igwe and also correlated theirs. They're in the Supreme Court. A village within the same sub-Igbo tribe. Okay? So let nobody think that all these talks, that's why we said the national conference is diversionary. The promoters promoted it to divert the electorate's attention.
You said
Because if he says
so
68 items in the exclusive legislative list, the National Assembly, as stated in Section 8 and 9, can create states, can amend that constitution. They can reduce the powers.
They have the powers. In essence, they have the powers.
Yes, I do not subscribe. I do not subscribe for a federal government that drills borehole. I do not subscribe to that.
Right. Thank you
so
very
what
much,
I'm saying,
Mr.
sorry,
Okechukwu.
what I'm saying in simplicity is every segment of the country has representation at the national and state assemblies. And what democracy encourages, democracy is not a revolution. It builds up incrementally. So what those who handle Mr. President should always tell him is that the rules of the game, if followed, will get Nigeria where we're going. That is not a question of sitting somewhere and saying, okay, when you finish the national conference,
I think
where are you going to implement it? How do you implement it? How do you implement it? We're not losing focus.
No, sorry, excuse
But
me.
there's no need for intellectual fraud.
Sorry,
There's no need for intellectual fraud.
Let him
Tony,
finish. Yeah.
what Okechukwu has just said goes back to the issue of devolution of power, because he says he doesn't believe that federal government should be
drill
sinking
boreholes.
boreholes.
Yes.
Now, to your mind, how do you score the National Assembly as regards their handling of this issue of devolution of power?
Let me first of all say that I am not really here to score the National Assembly, but we all
comment on it then, not score.
but we all know that, like my brother said, since 1998 to 2014, the National Assembly has not been able to change the structure of this nation. Now, if you are going downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to end up at the bottom of the hill. So if all we are going to depend upon is this same system that is producing no results or not the best of results, we are going to end up in the quagmire we are finding ourselves in today. But more importantly, my brother Osita said, the president didn't say anything about legal, making recommendations towards a legal framework. No, he did.
No, I said if he said that he started on a legal framework already.
Let me tell you.
He doesn't need to do that.
We recommended it. I'm a member of
That's what I'm saying.
I was a member of the Presidential Advisory Committee. We recommended to the president, and he would be a very bad president if he did not listen to the committee he set up to advise him. We said, tell the National Conference to advise you as to how best to incorporate their resolutions into either the existing constitution or to create a new constitution. It's simple. It was our advice. So the president did not do anything wrong. Now, the important thing here, we must remember that he also said we should not focus on party interests, ethnic interests. He should focus on national interests. Now, during the comments on his speech, there were quite a few people that were going outside that his advice. And a few others, including Mr. Digby, called the conference to order and helped redirect the conference towards its major intent, which was to advise towards rejigging this nation. The preponderance of opinion throughout the conference showed that everybody believed in federalism as defined in different ways, but understanding of there being autonomy of federating units,